another episode of Package Your Brilliance. I'm Deborah Anderson.
And I'm Stacy Walker.
And we're here with Kerry Heaps. And I've heard wonderful things. I just met Kerry literally a few seconds ago. So I'm really looking forward to this session to get to know you better. Stacy said, how do you use speaking as a paid marketing tool? So Kerry, to start this, why don't you take a moment, tell us, who you are, what you do, how you help people, just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm so excited to be here with all of the wonderful ladies. And thank you both for the introduction and warm welcome. But my name is Kerry Heaps. I am the founder and president of Book, Speak, Repeat. My organization, what we actually do is help people who have a message that they want to share. They can either share it from the stage, borrow someone else's microphone and engage, or spill it onto the page. So speaking, getting interviewed, writing a book, that's what we want to help individuals do that have a strong message to share that they want to get out to the world.
Excellent. I love the phraseology that you use. That seems like it's catchy. That's great.
I spent a lot of time on that, so thank you.
Yes, I love it too. So where would you like to start with this topic to help them actually use it and be effective on their journey?
Well, Stacy, that's a great question. And what I tell everyone, because I do have lots of people who come up to me after I have spoken and say, gosh, I would love to do what you do. How did you get started? What made you become a speaker? And we each have our own story. Myself personally, when I started my business in 2005, I fell into speaking. It wasn't something I was looking at doing. But because I was a former recruiter, I would have colleges ask me, hey, we have a graduating class. Can you come and talk to them? I taught a class called Resume Writing and Interviewing Techniques at the Knowledge Shop, which is just like a learning annex. So I wound up, I would go to the colleges, I would speak, I'd collect my check and go home. Back then it used to be the meeting planners were seeking us out as speakers. We didn't have to go out there and get any gigs, which it has long since changed, since then. That was so many years ago. And, I just kind of fell into it. It just wasn't really something I was looking at doing. I got away from it for many years and got back into it in 2016, 2017 timeframe. And that's kind of where Book, Speak, Repeat was born. But what I tell everyone is, because the biggest thing I hear from people is, I would love to do what you do, but I don't know what to say. They don't have a message to share. So something I would share with everyone is, everybody has a message to share. I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're a plumber, electrician, if you're a crossing guard, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a message to share. What you need to do is sit down and do some soul searching, and it's not going to come overnight. It's not going to be like, oh, well, I know what I'm going to talk about. It takes some time. You have to meditate on it. You have to really think about what stirs your soul, what makes you jump out of bed, what makes you want to jump in front of that audience and just say, hey, I have a message to share, listen to me, and here's why. So you really need to think about that. On the practical side, for those people who are real estate agents or accountants, or maybe they're a salesperson, there's practical skill sets that you can still speak on as a workshop presenter or breakout session person, or may not be suitable for a keynote, but it could be private company training where you're still in front of that audience and you're teaching and you're training and you're following your passion, you're helping those people. So what I like to tell everyone too is, make a list. Like when you go to a party and you're talking to other people and you meet somebody new and they're like, hey, Stacy, what do you do? And you tell them, always make a note of, what did they ask you? Like, what are the top 5 questions that people ask you when they find out you're a real estate agent or a plumber or an accountant or a doctor? Besides, hey, can you look at this mole on my back? Think about the questions that they ask you that can be generalized. And those make excellent speaking topics, because I can guarantee you, if you have at least 2 people asking you that same question, there's others out there that would love to learn about the same thing. And then people are like, well, I can answer that question. I couldn't fill up an hour with that. Actually, you can, because I find once people start talking and you start pulling that information out of them, thinks they can't do it. But once you get started, boom, 10 minutes have passed. You keep talking, another 10 minutes have passed. So there's a way to elaborate that and extend upon it and really be able to provide value to other people. So that's one of the first things I tell people to do. If someone has had something traumatic happen to them, maybe they've lost a loved one, or they've been a caregiver for many years and they've gone through a really hard time. There's other people out there that have experienced something similar. And again, they need to hear your message. But if you don't get out there and speak, they don't hear it. They miss your message. You're doing a disservice, not only to yourself, but to the other people who need you, who need to hear it. Never discount your words. Your words have power, and you have the power to use them in a positive direction or negative direction. So even saying hello to someone, opening up the door for them, at the store, could be something that is a difference between life and death. Sometimes you have somebody who walks into the store that's really upset, or they've been having a hard time, they're going through a hard time, they've lost their faith in humanity. And many people have these days. That one little act of kindness, or patting them on the back, or offering a bottle of water, or hey, how are you today? Kind words can turn their whole day around. It can turn their mental state around. So never discount what you have to say. Never think it's not important enough, because trust me, it is. And it's very important to someone somewhere. So that's one of the first things that I tell people. Secondly, once you get your topic, you have, okay, I got my message, I know what I want to share, then you need to have it in that format. There's a way to go about this. There's a process to getting booked, and it's not hard. It really isn't. It's a process. I'm a systems gal. So once I figure something out, how to do something, I'm like, okay, we just keep doing it on repeat. There's no reason to change it. It's successful. And it's not my formula. It's just how the industry works. So I always tell everybody, have your topic of what you want to talk about. It needs to be in the topic summary 3 to 5 takeaway format. So I'm going to review that very quickly. Your topic needs to be eye-catching. It needs to be, kind of like, hey, that's really like, I want to learn more about that. My body language class is a great example. It's called Bodies Don't Lie. Body language basics. So people are like, ooh, bodies don't lie, because they're wondering, are they lying down? Are they lying as in not telling the truth? So it gives them a little bit of, hey, I want to learn more about that. So your topic needs to be eye-catching. When you're trying to figure out what your topic should be, go to pen and paper, write out what you think it should look like, write out a few samples. You can get a few opinions, but go with the topic that resonates with you, because at the end of the day, you're the one on stage presenting. You need to be comfortable with that topic. The next thing you're going to do is come up with a summary of the topic. All that is a very brief paragraph, or just a couple of sentences about what that topic is about. Like, for example, I'll go to my body language class again. I say, have you ever wondered what someone's thinking? Are you trying to figure out if that person's lying? Have you ever wondered what someone is thinking when they're shaking your hand, or why some people have a limp handshake and others have a very firm or strong one? What does that mean? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this class. You just want to catch their attention, just enough to catch their attention. And lastly, you want to have 3 to 5 takeaways. So what that is if I come to your workshop or your keynote, what are some actionable items that I'm going to be able to walk away and implement right away, or I'm going to learn right away? So it could be attendees could learn what is exactly in a handshake. What does it mean? What does it mean when someone's nostrils flare out or get red, around the edges? What does that mean? You'll be able to tell the difference between positive and negative body language. And, so you just 3 to 5. Now, why do they need to be in that format? Okay, so there's a method to the madness. So basically, you want to have it like that because meeting planners, when they are looking for speakers, they want it in that format ready to go. If they hire you to speak, what's going to happen is they take that topic summary 3 to 5 takeaways that you gave them, that goes into their marketing material, they hit copy and paste. They do not check it for typos. They don't change any punctuation, because changing one little word could change the whole meaning of what you're presenting. So whatever you give them is what they're going to use. Okay, it's going to go on the event website, in the marketing material, the mailouts, and so forth. So the next thing you're going to need is your headshot and bio. So your headshot, I always recommend have your headshot done at least every 6 months. Most actors and actresses have to do that. You want to keep your headshot current. And the same thing for the meeting planning industry. And there's a quick story to this. So the reason this is important is because if you're using a photo that was taken 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or even last year, and maybe you lost a lot of weight, or you cut your hair, you colored it, you had a facelift, whatever, you look different from your photo. Your photo is going to go into that handout for the directory. Learn more about the speaker here. There's your photo and your bio. So for example, I had this happen with a speaker. I was going to a big convention and I was in the speaker ready room with all the other speakers, and they're looking for, we'll just say John Doe. They're looking for John. He's nowhere to be found. The lady who's looking for him has the handout with his photo and bio, and she's looking and looking. Well, all of a sudden this guy walks in and he goes, are you looking for John? You know, he named his name, and she said, yes. And he goes, well, that's me. And she said, what? And she's looking at the photo, looking at him, and he goes, oh, that photo was taken a long time ago. But what happened was they had to change his room where he was presenting at the last minute. So they had to find him to let him know, hey, we need to take you over here. So that is very important. And it's also an integrity thing, because people think, oh, why are you using this? Why aren't you look nothing like your photo. You know, sometimes people are like, hey, what's going on here? Why don't you, so you never want to cast any doubt among who you are and what you present on, because it takes away your credibility. The next thing you're needing is your bio. Your bio is your entrepreneurial resume, okay? 1 to 2 paragraphs tops, and you need to be adding to that consistently. So if you won an award last year, put that in your bio. If you got interviewed on the Jenny McCarthy show, put that in your bio, but it needs to be current. I've had people put in their bio, I was on the Oprah Winfrey show, and come to find out this person was on the Oprah Winfrey show back in 1994. Nobody cares. That's too long. You need to be updating it. You need to be doing those things. You need to make sure that it stays current. Yes, that's impressive, but it was so long ago, it's not really going to carry any weight. So keep that current, and always remember, it kind of helps you, again, about getting interviewed and making sure you're staying on top of, your accolades and what you've been doing. So keep that current. So your topic summary, 3 to 5 takeaways. You need your bio and your headshot. So that's, once you have that, then you can start on that road of getting booked and, starting to find different engagements to apply to.
And Kerry, I think like what you've shared has been absolutely amazing. What are your thoughts, Deborah?
I think the same thing. I mean, I feel like I just went to a class, and I mean, I was like outlining it in my mind as you're speaking. Yeah. And that, especially the part about going to a party or something and what people ask you, I hadn't thought of that, but that is so brilliant on figuring out what it is people want to hear. I mean, that right there, it's exceptional.
Thank you. And then, I was also going to share, if it's okay, another tip about not so much the presentation part or finding gigs, but being able to generate leads from the audience, if I may. Okay, so, the speaking industry has changed so much where, it used to be that $5,000, $10,000 keynote, they're not around anymore. There's too many people that are willing to speak for free because they are using it as a lead generation source for their business, or they're getting a fee, but it's something like maybe $500 or $1,000. In addition to getting a list share, they're getting other ways that they can expand their business. So I strongly encourage anyone who is looking at doing this, or if you are currently a speaker and you're listening to this, is to do 2 things. Look at your offerings. The days of speaking and getting paid for it and going home are pretty much over. That's not going to turn around. It's not going to change. It's only going to continue on that path and evolve. So look at your offerings of, okay, I just now spoke to a group of contractors, maybe construction contractors for the Home Builders Association, and you're a marketing and salesperson. What product can you, when you go to follow up with them, the people in the audience, what product or service do you have that can make them become a client? The big money is sitting in that audience. It's not on stage, it's in the audience. So you need to have an offer. And I recommend having more than one, so that could be like we talk about a book, spill it on the page, your topic, turn it into a book. you're getting interviewed on it. It's a way to, you can make sales. You're not going to make a ton of money, but you have another stream of income. You may have a company that decides, hey, we can't afford to hire you, but we're going to buy 100 copies of your book and give it to all of our employees. So there's that. Think about the private training aspect. What could you do for them? If you went in and you trained for a half day or a full day, or would it require you being there a week? And what you would charge for something like that? What would be included? What are your value adds to that? So when you follow up with them and you're talking to a contractor who has 20 employees and they are having trouble with maybe customer service, and that's something you specialize in, hey, let me come in, let me help you with this, set up a great system for follow through and for closing and for just the life of the customer, what needs to be done. It's going to take me about a week to do. This is what the investment is, but this is going to really increase your ROI. You're going to retain clients and get additional clients from that. Companies will invest in that if they see that there is something of value there. So you already have an in because they heard you speak. They know you're an expert. You're a recognized expert based on the association they belong to that hired you to speak. Okay, so you already have your foot in the door. All you have to do is present your offer, present the value, and close the deal. That's all you have to do. So trust me, it speeds up the process for bigger income very quickly. But look at your offerings. Private training is an opportunity. Writing a book is an opportunity. Having an audio product or a DVD, all of these, and none of this is out of anybody's realm. It's all easy. There is a way to do it. If you want to do it, there's a way.
Especially if you want to nail a message, like you sharing it over and over again, just you get better at sharing the message. Oh my goodness,
and that's
Kerry,
the other thing too with actually your message, because a lot of people think, well, I need to take a class to improve my presentation. You can do that, but honestly, at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to improve you is time and practice. And I have, as an acting background, so having an acting background as well, I go back to, with auditioning, the only thing that's going to improve your acting skill set is practice, practicing your skill set and making sure that you're doing all of the right things, that you're improving, how you present and how, if you're supposed to be angry for a certain part, getting into that mode and becoming angry. It's the same thing with your presentation. The only thing that's really going to improve that is time. And I would encourage people too, you can just practice on your own. You can record yourself on Zoom. I've done that before. It gives you an idea of how long it's going to take you to do your presentation. It will give you an idea of what you look like. Do you need to work on something? Are you swaying a lot, when you're talking? Just where you can correct little things, you can see what the audience sees. So it's a great way for you to kind of review it and go, okay, this is what I need to work on. I don't like this, or I don't like that. And then also too, timing. And then sometimes you forget things that, hey, I really want to include this in my presentation. I forgot about this. So you can stop your taping, you can make a note, but really at the end of the day, it's just time that's going to improve that.
So Kerry, how can people find you? Let's say they want to hire you to speak or anything.
That's very easy. They can go to bookspeakrepeat.com. and they can fill out one of our inquiry forms. Our contact information's on there, and I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody and talk with them. And even if I can't help them, if they're not the right fit for me, I will try to point them in the right direction, give them some resources and so forth. So
yes, I know you have a generous gift. So what are your details about this generous gift?
Thank you. So it's a webinar. It is a recorded webinar. It's about 45 minutes long, and it's called How to Use Speaking as a Paid Marketing Tool. It's an in-depth roadmap per se of, okay, I have my topic. I know who I want to talk to. I know what I want to do. Now, where do I go to find and apply at this point? So it walks you through step by step of where you can find leads, where you can go to look for them, where you can find open calls, how to make the process easy on yourself, creating a follow-up system, for these leads, and kind of starting that process and how it actually works in each part of the industry for association and trade shows, the college market, and then of course, private company training.
Wow. And how about words of wisdom?
I would say a couple of things, but in synopsis, I would say at the end of the day, life is short. It's better to try it, and even if you fail at it or you don't like it, at least you tried. You never want to go back on life and question, should I have done that? Should I not have done that? And at least now you know. But I also find too, everyone likes to wait for the right moment. There is no right moment ever. Do it now. Do it now.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Kerry.
And thank you, ladies. It's been such an honor to be here with you this afternoon.
Thank you, Kerry. Appreciate that. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Package Your Brilliance.